and Mia is gonna try and chase the loons. They are super close. Well, we made it. Portage 1 of 4 done for the day. What can I say about that portage? This is the portage that never ends. It just goes up and up, my friend. No, overall, it's a beautiful hike. Our next portage is just over there. There is quite an elevation at time on this portage, but I mean, it's a good trail. It really was no mud. There's just a lot of rocks and roots that you kind of have to watch out for, but besides that, it's a really nice hike. It is the longest portage that we are doing on this trip, a 670 meter. It didn't actually feel like it was that long, which is a good thing. So we're just gonna have a rest, give the dog some water, and then head to our second portage. So Marcus decided to go and check out the next portage and go on a little hike. He's a little antsy just sitting at the campsite and relaxing. So he's just coming around the corner and we'll say hi to him as he goes by. Hi Mark, hi Mia.
Hi Mia. I'll have to check out that portage.
Have fun.
Yeah.
And if it's all uphill, make sure you make it flat for tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
So they're just gonna go in, do a little hike, and on the portage, I may go into it a little bit later. My knee's just really sore from yesterday with the portaging and just the conditions of the portages. So I'm just gonna relax a bit longer and actually gonna make some pancakes and chocolate chips right now. Right now I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy the wildlife. I don't know if that's a loon. We haven't really seen any loons on this lake. We have some Canadian geese that were quite funny yesterday. I was just really tired, but I really should have got out the video camera and recorded. It was quite funny on what they were doing. Would have made some really nice pictures for those people that love photography. We also saw, and I believe it was I believe it was an otter yesterday evening. That was swimming right by our campsite. It was a little far out, so we couldn't really tell if it was a beaver or an otter, but we're assuming it was an otter. We had heard a pretty big splash prior, and then we went to look and we didn't see anything, and then all of a sudden I'm like, there's something in the water, and we went and looked and we're pretty sure it was an otter. I got a picture, but maybe it'll look better on the when I put it on the computer, but right now it just looks like a black dot in the water. So this is a view of Astor's Pond. It actually looks like there's a beaver dam going all the way across it. I believe we do kind of portage around the pond a little bit. There is another body of water that you can see on the portage, so I'm assuming that's what it is. We are just heading out to cross Astor's Pond to our next portage, which I believe is a 275 meter. So it should be a fairly quick portage, and then we have a really short paddle, and then I believe it's a 110 meter portage, so another 2 really short portages coming up, so we should be able to get those done fairly quickly, and then we'll be on to our last portage. We are just about ready to do the portage. Pretty much you paddle to the beaver dam and the portage is right there, which is a good thing. Otherwise we'd be carrying over 2 beaver dams. Portage number 2 of 4 down, and we're just watching some loons. We are double carrying, so we're going to go back and get the boats now. If it was not for the beaver dams, you would be able to paddle straight through here. So, I mean, those people that are interested in liftovers could possibly do it. The water seems quite deep though. And we're just gonna head out around that bend and around the corner, and there's our next portage. And we are off to find our third portage of the day. We nearly had a mishap, but the crisis was averted. We were able to stop the boat from tipping upon getting in. We'll talk a little bit more about the pack boats later on, maybe when we get to camp, and just give a little insight about them. Okay, on to portage number 3. This is the shortest one, only 130 meters, but I feel like I've just ran a marathon. Just getting the boat, just getting out of the water and getting the boat up this freaking hill. Thank you to Mark who carried up my pack. Oh my goodness, that's just crazy. So, because the water is so low, we have to take this trail around. And I apologize now for the shaky video. We are going to try and see if we can just walk all the way around instead of paddling the teeny bit across, because the portage is literally just around that bend, literally right there, and there's not much to paddle. So we were supposed to do 130 meter portage paddle across a little pond, river, whatever you want to call it, and then do a 470. But because water levels are so low, we had to take a longer trail. And then there's a spot that you can actually like put in. We decided just to portage all the way around. There's no point in getting in the boat and crossing over that teeny bit of water. So I want to say in total, we're looking at that we just portaged probably close to another 700 meter. A really cool tree on our portage that's literally like bent over into like an arch. Okay, we have a little mud river to pass.
Yeah, I do believe you just said, oh, what a nice trail before we get there.
I did. I actually commented on how nice the trail was, how flat it was, and then we hit these two spots. So note, do not comment on how well the trail is going until I went the wrong way. You get to the end of it. Just keep that in mind for next time. Hello, Mr. Tree. Just gonna scooch beside you. And a little bushwhacking. Okay. I should make a note that our dogs are completely covered in mud, because instead of going around, they like to go through the mud. We are just heading back to get our boats that we left probably halfway from on the other portage.
and we decided to go and get the packs and see if we could just portage all the way around. And we were able to, so we just kept going onto this portage as well. So what we believe to be a moose track, but we're not 100% certain. I'm just gonna portage over the beaver dam. The first time around with our packs, we actually had 2 Canadian geese here that we thought may end up attacking us, as they were protecting their territory. I need help, remember?
It's solid. Trust me, if I can walk over it and I weigh more than you, you're good. Damn engineering.
A little beaver. Yeah, but we were thinking that maybe they're making their nest along here. So we're not very happy that we were actually crossing, but they kept their distance, and right now they're gone. So yeah. And right along that beaver lodge is our boats. So as you can see, I do not have appropriate portage shoes. My shoes actually got left behind. So these are not bad. The treads are okay. It's a little slippery in spots, but just take it slow. And Mark helps if it's really steep. And here we go. This is what we should be able to paddle through. This is what we debated paddling across. We decided it would just be easier than fighting to put the dogs in and all the gear in the boat, and then to take it right out just to portage all the way around and extend what was supposed to be 130-meter portage. But the good news is this is our last portage of the day. We are excited to be done and looking for a campsite on Tom Thomas for 3 days. Tom Thompson. I don't know what I said. Clearly I said it. Oh, okay. Clearly I said it wrong. Anyway, okay. And we made it.
Yeah. We're way away from where
a view of the sun going down from our gorgeous campsite. We just met this really cool guy who's also using a pack boat this trip. He's actually already completed 27 kilometers today. He is supposed to be, I believe he said, camping on Macintosh, but he's gonna keep going. But yeah, he was really cool just to talk to him, and it's amazing the people that you meet out here and how inspiring some of them can actually be. Good morning. It is a cold, cloudy day. As you can see, the sun is really trying to come out. They are calling for rain later today. So we just finished putting up a tarp because we are here staying on this site for 2 days. We don't want to be stuck in tents all day long. So we just finished hanging a nice tarp. Mark's just finishing to tie it up. But it'll provide good shelter with a view if it rains.
And keep our precious firewood dry.
And keep our precious firewood dry, because I am freezing and I don't know what I would do without a fire tonight. Now, if it's pouring rain, we're just gonna have to move the fire pit over here, but that's manageable. So it's kind of chilly this morning, so this is pretty much what the dogs like to do on a chilly morning. Mia actually has her own little sleeping bag that she sleeps in every night in her tent, and she likes to sleep really underneath it and be covered completely. Coco, on the other hand, is a lap dog and likes to sit on me all wrapped up in 2 fleece blankets to keep her warm.
Hey guys, it's Saturday morning here on Tom Thompson. Pretty windy, rainy, cold day. Mia's just hanging out. There's Arlene. Coco's tucked underneath. And as you can see, we've hunkered up under a tarp. So we're just going to wait out this day and try and stay dry. Anyway, hello from Tom Thompson. Just a little view of my tarp setup here. We're currently hunkered under on Tom Thompson Lake. Just trying to stay a little bit dry. It's supposed to rain today. Tomorrow we're probably going to go and try and do a little exploring on one of the other lakes close by. But for today we're just kind of taking it easy and trying to stay dry. So everybody have a great day.
So as you can see and hear, it is raining quite heavily. So we have now moved into the tent to try and stay dry. It's not a bad thing. The dogs are extremely tired from all the portaging yesterday, so they are enjoying the cuddles and the nap time. And we're just passing time just by reading, listening, and having a nap ourselves. Hello everybody. So we are still in our tents. The wind is just so bad that you can't even stay dry under the tarp, unfortunately. We would have preferred to be out under the tarp and at least still enjoying the views and everything, but it's just impossible to stay dry. The whole area under the tarp is all wet because of the wind in the direction of the rain. So it's unfortunate, but I guess that's part of backcountry camping. You never know what the weather's going to be, and you make the most of it. I'm where my tent is actually set up. The portage is actually just to my right, and I can actually see through one of the windows of my tent. And there's been so many people doing this portage today, either paddling up, I guess, from Canoe Lake or Burnt Island to do this portage, or coming down from, I believe, Macintosh into Tom Thompson, where we are currently staying. So, I mean, it's pretty amazing just to sit here and watch how many people are actually out there in the rain and still paddling, still portaging. They are troopers. My hat goes off to them, because I know the weather can always be a damper for a lot of people, and it's a deterrent for a lot of people to get out here and actually enjoy nature, because what are you going to do if it rains? How are you going to get from point A to point B? And who wants to do all that in the rain? It's not the most pleasant, but you make the most of it. And if you're really out here for the right reasons, the weather doesn't matter at all. And you can watch many people's videos that they've put up on YouTube, and they'll all agree. You know, the weather is not something that stops them from going out. A lot of people don't even really look at it. They'll look at it just so that they can kind of plan ahead, but and what gear to bring, and make sure that, you know, they have the sufficient gear that they're going to need. But it doesn't stop them from doing the trip at all, and that's fantastic. And it's been one of my highlights for the day to see how many people have actually still been out there paddling, because it's been coming down pretty hard, and the wind is pretty bad. So kudos to them. And yeah, I just wanted to share that little highlight of the day and give kind of an update of what's been going on. And Coco is still sleeping, catching up on some much needed rest from all her portaging. But we're having a nice relaxing day and getting to spend a lot of time together. And so, as many of you know, we have just actually started introducing our dogs to backcountry camping. We took them last year on a 3-day trip, I believe, to Bon Echo. It was their first time really in the backcountry. In general, everything's been good. I mean, they're still getting accustomed being in the boats, but they're very good on the portages. They listen. They stay right beside us. Around camp, they listen. They're very good, so we've, you know, are definitely happy with that. My question is, I'm going to put it out there for anybody that actually camps with dogs. My dog is very, very picky when it comes to eating, especially camping. So my brother's pretty much been mixing the food for his dog with, like, either gravy or like some of the sauce and maybe noodles from his meals, whatever it is. He'll kind of mix it in with the dog food, and his dog seems to eat it fine. Mine, however, still will not touch it. So, I mean, on a 3-day trip, it's not such a big deal. Generally, we'll take more proteins like hot dogs and steak and stuff like that as we're able to keep it. But on an 8-day long trip like this, it's a lot harder to actually have stuff that I know that she's going to actually be able to eat, and not just at dinner time. So if any of you guys out there could just leave a comment or maybe give some suggestions of what you guys do with your dogs, it would be greatly appreciated. It would help me out so much. Yeah, because I'd like to keep taking her on the trips, but I do worry with how much food she actually eats, because for me it's not a sufficient amount as, you know, when I know what she eats at home, and it's not the same when she's out here. So yeah, any comments, any suggestions, it would be greatly appreciated. So it is about 8:30, and guess what? It's still raining. It's just been one of those days. We actually just finished up dinner, got the dishes all done, got the bear bags
bear bags hung, and it literally started to teem. So we decided we were going to wait it out a little bit, see if there's a little bit of a lull in the rain, let the dogs dry out a little bit, and then we would head to our tents. It didn't quite work that way, so we made a run for it, and pretty much we're going to be bunkered down in our tents the rest of the night. Just how the day's been. And overall, it hasn't been a bad day. Yes, it's been raining all day long. It's been quite cold and windy as well, but it's been a nice day just to relax and just to take some time to ourselves, do some reading, listening to music, listening to the Trust the Trails podcast, just stuff like that. We've just kind of been keeping ourselves busy. So, I mean, all in all, it's been a great day. We're looking forward to tomorrow. We are actually hoping to kind of do a day hike and a little paddle. We are actually camped right beside a portage leading to another lake. I believe the portage is 2,300 and some odd meters. I'm not sure what lake it goes into. I can't recall. I can't really recall right now, but we're looking and thinking of doing that as a day hike, paddling a bit on that lake, and then heading back to camp. So we'll see how the morning is. We'll see how it goes if we end up doing that. But all in all, it's been a good day. One of the highlights has just been laying here listening to the raindrops hit the tent. It's one of my favorite things to fall asleep to. So I'm looking forward to that. The loons are now out and singing, and it's been a fantastic day, even knowing it's been raining. So we're just thought I'd share that little bit of how the day went, since we didn't really end up recording anything today. And we'll see everyone in the morning. Have a good night. Good morning. So it has finally stopped raining, which is fantastic. It pretty much rained all day last night, all day yesterday and all last night. It was pretty heavy overnight. But so far it's a beautiful day. It's a little overcast, but not as cold as it has been. We are actually going to head out early today, a day early, just because we want to go and get Mark's boat fixed. Because of the long weekend, we're thinking that it won't be open on Monday, so we're going to head out a day early. But anyway, we just wanted to take this time to talk about the pack boats. It's our first time for both of us using them. Mark actually purchased one, and I rented mine from the Algonguin Outfitters. We both have a 13.6 that we used.
The Adirondack.
So we're just going to talk about them and what our opinion of them was for this trip, and if we would kind of recommend them or not.
On whole, I would say I think it's a really great boat. It's a little tricky getting in and out of compared to a canoe. And that's where I have most of my experience. So
there's really not much of a center of gravity in them.
Yeah, I found you kind of got to step out as opposed, to the canoe, more I guess like a kayak, which sort of would work out considering you're so low in the canoe. Responsiveness and everything like that. I think it's really awesome. It's a really great boat, lightweight, which is kind of what we wanted for doing multiple portages in a day. I'm by no means an Ironman. I'm by no means an extreme bushcrafter. I'm just an average guy looking to get out and do some camping. It's light enough and portageable enough to, be taken anywhere. Now with that said, it's lightweight, so you do have to be careful with it.
They are very fragile.
did have, as Arlene said, we're heading out to get my boat fixed. I did have one of the pieces for your foot brace break, but you know, from what I've heard, Swift is really good with that for customer service, so I have no issues that we'll be able to get that taken care of, no problem. And I can't wait to get out on another trip with it.
Yeah. I really like the boats too. They glide very well. Again, yeah, they are tricky getting in and out of, just because they are very tippy. But they're extremely light to portage. The only other disadvantage I would say is that if you have a bigger pack, especially if you're doing like a long trip like we did, the yoke actually sits right where the seat of the kayak folds down. So if your pack is a little high, it interferes with the boat sitting properly, which makes it hard, maybe even impossible to do a single carry.
Well, in retrospect, you're bringing a backpacking pack to, you know, a canoe
I
trip.
like my backpacking.
Well, a
pack.
portage pack would probably sit a little lower and allow you
No,
to
I
do
think
that.
I'd still bring too much stuff. Anyway, I haven't learned my lessons on how to pack light, but we're working on that. I'm somebody that believes you need everything, even when you don't use half the stuff that's in your pack.
Oh, God help you on our next backpacking trip.
No. That's something I guess you learn. The more that you do trips, the more you learn what you do and do not need, and what nature can actually provide for you. But yeah, in general, it was a really good trip. We're happy that we did it. There was some cool nights, but there was also some very sunny, beautiful days.
And pretty much entirely bug and mosquito
Yeah, and
free.
really, I think the only time we ran into any bugs was at one of the portages, and that was off of Joe.
Might have been.
And it was just kind of like a marshy, like river area. So, yeah, that was like really the only portage that we encountered bugs. So, it was good in that retrospect. But we are actually looking forward to our next trip. We are going to go on our very first backpacking trip. Again, it's going to be here. We're going to do
I think it's what was it? The Highlands?
the Highlands loop, whatever, the loop that's going around Provoking Lake. We're actually going to do, I believe it's 3 nights that we're doing.
3 nights.
3 nights. So it'll be a great experience. Neither one of us have actually backpacked before, so we are looking at really cutting down the weight of our packs, because both of us, even knowing he had a canoe pack and I had a backpacking pack, we both weighed in at 60 pounds coming on this trip.
Hey, 55.
So, 55, sorry. Okay, in retrospect, mine would have only been 50 pounds if it wasn't for my, like, 10-pound tent that I have. So, I think I still win. But anyway, we are looking at cutting down. We have learned a lot of stuff on this trip, and ways, especially with the food, to pack light. I think both of us are going to try a different stove when we come. This time, I use the twig stove. I love it. It's like cooking on a campfire. That's probably the reason why I like it the most. It does take a lot longer. You're looking probably at an hour to make a meal, or boil water if you're going to do a big pot. Mark used the jet boil, which is really convenient on rainy and kind of windy, yucky days. But we're looking at trying out, what stove was it?
Well, haven't sort of figured it out. Dad's got the Crux. Crux. It's like a similar version to the Pocket Rocket.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna look at trying that out on the backpacking trip. Anyways.
Yeah. So the other thing that we did sort of have was had a bit of an issue with our pump water filter, and we met Camper Christina at the Outdoor Adventure Show, and she gave us each a bottle of Pyrzine. So I decided to bring that along just in case, and you know, it's kind of a good thing that we did. And Basically, you just scoop up your liter of water, add 20 drops, and wait for an hour for it to do its magic. And I was thoroughly impressed. There was no like chemically aftertaste or anything like that in the water, so I'm definitely a big fan and probably will pick up more. Again, Camper Christina, thank you very much.
Thank you, Christina.
So,
Okay.
shall we get to packing?
So we are just finishing up on the last minute packing of the gear. We are kind of sad to leave this gorgeous spot. I'd say it's probably one of the desired spots on this lake, on this end of Tom Thompson anyway. My boat is set, gear is ready. We're just waiting for Mark. He has a couple more things to pack up. Our motto is always to leave the site cleaner than it was when we got here. So any garbage that we found when we arrived, we are carrying out and trying to leave it cleaner than it was when we arrived for the next people. It was a gorgeous site, gorgeous views, lots of nice people we met on the way to the portage, which is just right down there. Unfortunately, we will not be doing this little hike today. We figure that packing out a day earlier is probably a better bet with the way Mark's boat is. It's just the foot rail has come apart. It just kind of looks like it's glued on, which could see being a problem. However, he did kind of, the boat did kind of slip. I guess the yoke wasn't tight enough when he went to pick it up at one portage. Coco, come please. Coco, come. So we're thinking that that little jolt is what kind of knocked it off. But like he mentioned, Swift is really good at repairing it. So we're gonna head out in hopes to get it repaired today. And then we'll just spend the night at my dad's and then come home on the Monday. It's been a great trip. We're excited for the next one. We're sad that this one's coming to an end, but there's many more this summer. So we are packed up. We are heading to Little Octon River and then onto Canoe Lake, which will be our exit point. It is still quite cloudy out today, but there's really very little wind. The water's fairly calm. So we're looking to have a nice leisurely paddle out today and just enjoy the views one last time. No, we're going this way. this is... So we have to go that way, I guess. Yeah. It was just looking the other way for a minute. Okay, look at yours, because mine is still saying we're going the wrong way. Like, do we want to go back that way and follow it? Yeah. We want to go down where this part. To go where that boat came from. It would be easier coming down like we did than going up that, because you have that current you'd have to fight against. Yeah. Watch the log in the water. So we are just heading out to the end of Tom Thomas, almost ready to go onto the little Oxton River and then into Canoe Lake. GoPro stop recording. GoPro turn off. ignore her and she'll probably stop. What? Coco, sit. Don't tip. I don't know why you're freaking grabbing for the log anyway. Let the current take you. You can't lean out in the boats, Mark.
I know, but my
Coco, sit.
It's okay, Mia.
Lay down, please. Stop, Mama. If the beavers build that dam anymore, they're gonna have to do. Okay. They need to knock it down more, though. Yeah. Lay on the blanket. Come here. Why do you think Mommy put the blanket in? Lay down. Coco, lay down. What? Yeah.
Mama can cover you. Keep Coco warm. We have made it back to access point number 5. There's the Canoe Lake office where you obtain your permit, parking lot, and then a restaurant. We had a great trip. We hope that you'll enjoy watching the videos as much as we enjoyed doing them and enjoyed the trip all together. See you guys next time.